Hi, I'm Gina and welcome back to my channel. I'm an artist and maker of miniatures and dollhouses. One of the projects that I've got on the go at the moment is a Addams Family Mansion. It is in 1/12 scale and it's all made out of foam board and mat board. Now that actually creates a fair bit of challenges just with the scale and the size of the project, and also using cardboard and foam board. Neither one of those products like to stay straight, and also we've got some rigidity and stability challenges along the way. It's coming together quite nicely, and in today's video we're going to be going through and having a look how I created the dining room space. So hopefully you enjoy, and hopefully you get some ideas and inspiration that I have absolutely got from others like yourselves out there. Let's get started. So in the first part of the video, I have made some templates of all of the walls. So the walls themselves are made of foam board and the templates are made of mat board. So by gluing the mat board either side of the foam board, it just actually helps strengthen it all up. And so the templates I've just made to the size of the wall, and then I'm going to decorate those as we continue through the video. For the wallpaper, I grabbed a pattern that I really like off the internet, and then I have actually printed that out on some A4 paper. And I've just made sure that the pattern is as long as, or longer than the wall itself, so that I don't have to join, I have to join as little as much as possible. So here I'm just laying it down on top of the template, just to make sure that the pattern lines up where I've trimmed off the edges, and then I'm going to glue it all together. So I'm just going to glue down on the different walls the wallpaper and just in one sheet. What I'll do is I'll come back later and trim it all off. So at the moment I'm just trying to look to get it as flat as possible. I usually just put it under a couple of books just to make sure that it stays as flat as possible as it dries. Once it's fully dry, then I can go around and trim off all the excess and cut out the windows and doors. So moving on to the flooring, so I've used this process a couple of times now, and it will be the same throughout this entire project, which is basically using mat board. And what I do is just mark out where the floorboards need to go, just draw that out with some pencil, and then come back with my craft knife, and what I'm going to do is cut either side of that pencil line, not all the way through the mat board, just through that top layer of paper. And then come back and peel away that piece of paper. So that creates the grooves as if the floorboards are meeting together. And at this stage, it doesn't really matter how wide those gaps are. You can do them really narrow and really fine. You can do them a bit wider. Once it's all painted out, all it is just giving a bit of definition of the floorboard, but you're just using one piece of cardboard. Once I've gone through and cut either side of the line, what I'm going to go through now is actually cut through and define the beginning and the end of the floorboards across the length of the room. And what I do there is I just go through and just mark and cut through just one cut. I don't go through and do two cuts, but just one cut, and then come back through with a sharp tool and just indent where that cut is. So it just creates where the floorboards would have been butted up together, which generally would be a little bit closer anyway. And once it gets all painted up, then it actually creates quite a nice definition of where all the floorboards are. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and paint the floor, just using some brown, I think it's raw burnt umber. So it's basically burnt umber, so it's just got a little bit more of a warm tone to it. It's quite a dark brown, which is the same as all the other brown that I've used in the project as well. And so we're going to paint the floor, and then we're also going to paint the stairwell and the wall that is going to be the side of the stairwell as well. So that'll just make a little bit more sense as we go through it. So once that's all done, all we're going to do now is fit the floor into place before we move on to fitting the walls. One of the things I've done off camera is created these windows. It's all made out of mat board with some plastic in for the windows. I've just painted it all up in black, so all of the windows will be black. And these actually do slide. So there's once the window frame goes on, it actually secures the pane of glass, or the pane that actually slides up and down, so it doesn't actually fall out of the window. So once we've done that, I've got a template of the window frame, and all I'm going to do is cut out 2 of those, because we've got 2 windows in the dining room, and then I'm also going to make sure that I cut out the door frames as well. So before that we can fit the windows, we'll just make sure that we've got all the walls in place. So I'm just going to fit this back wall in here, which has got the windows on it, and then also the stairs will go into position here as well, into the dining room. So as the stairs go in, you can kind of see how that particular wall comes together, because it's half wallpaper, and then also we've got some wood finish on there as well. I have gone through and put just some very fine detail of what would be wood paneling. I've just done that off camera, but it's basically just using a strip of mat board and just creating those shapes on the wall, and that's as simple as it is. So yeah, once the walls are glued in place, then we can go through and we can put the windows in, and as you can see, it's just starting to come together and looking like an actual room, which I'm absolutely stoked about. I'm very excited about how it's come together. The last thing to do is the ceiling, and I have painted most of this off camera, but the last thing I'm going to do is using some chalk pastels to just create some definition, some parts of the ceiling that have potentially got a lot of mold or dust and grime and that sort of thing, just to try and age it up a little bit. And then, as you can see in the project, it's starting to really come together. So I really hope that you enjoy that video. It's been a lot of fun pulling it together. I'm really stoked at how it's turned out, and I just can't wait to put some window coverings up on the walls. Do have the skirting boards still to finish and some crown moulding to put in, but ultimately it's basically done, and the next step is to decorate it, which is really fun stuff. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.